Cool. All right. I think we should be good now. Okay. Janice in the chat just said, hello, everyone. Shared household, so I can't speak. That's fair enough. We're going to have everyone muted for a little while now anyway, while we get into some practice, and then we'll see how we go. If we have some time for some Q&A and stuff at the end, we'll unmute a few people so we can talk. I thought today we'd spend a little bit of time specifically focusing on our breathing. So spending a little bit of time exploring some things just to do with our breath, and then do some crane exercises, which again, specifically work with our breathing as well, but in some different ways. So you might want to actually just sit down for the first part. You're welcome to stand if you want, but some of the just breathing exercises are a little bit easier just sitting down. So make yourself comfortable, and then we'll get started. Cool. All right. So for those of you, obviously you're going to have whatever you're able to do. You can sit on the ground if that's comfortable for you. What you really want is to have your back free, so that if you're in a chair, you don't want to be leaning on the back of the chair if you can avoid it. You want to be forwards a little bit so that your back is free and your body is upright. So we're going to just start by exploring some of the spaces for our breathing. And first we're going to work with the abdomen. It can help to put one hand on your chest and one on your belly so that this can bring your attention to this area and feel what's happening. And we'll start simply by breathing with the abdomen. So breathe in, expand your belly. And breathe out, belly goes back in. Breathe in, expand your belly. Breathe out, belly draws back in. Breathe in, expand your belly. Breathe out, belly draws back in. Breathe in, expand the belly. Breathe out. So just full relaxed breaths, trying to keep that movement primarily just in your belly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. So this time, hold your belly in, keep your belly there, breathe in. This means your chest and your ribs expand. Breathe out. Chest and ribs fall. So we're going to keep our belly held firm throughout this. Breathe in. Chest, ribs expand. Breathe out. Chest, ribs sink. Breathe in. And out. Keeping that belly in. Breathe in. Expand your chest and ribs. Breathe out. Chest and ribs sink. Breathe in. Breathe out. Couple more. Breathe in, expanding the ribs. Breathe out, sink. One more. Breathe in. And out. This time, letting go of the hands. Breathe in, lift your shoulders up as high as you can. Get them right up around your ears if you can. Breathe out. Relax down. Breathe in, lift the shoulders. Out. Breathe in, lift the shoulders up. Out. Breathe in. And out. So we're going to combine all of that together now, those three spaces, into a wave breath. So our belly will expand, then our ribs will expand, then our shoulders will come right up, our shoulders will drop, our chest will sink in, and our belly will draw back in. So again, you might want to put your hands on your chest and belly to help you with awareness of this to begin with. Or if you're already pretty comfortable with this type of breathing, you can just put your hands down flat, however you like. So we breathe in, expand the belly. Keep breathing in, the belly draws in a little, and the chest and ribs expand. Keep breathing in, raise your shoulders up. Breathe out, drop your shoulders. Keep breathing out, chest sinks. Keep breathing out, belly draws back in. Breathe in, belly expands. Keep breathing in, belly draws in a little, chest expands. Keep breathing in, shoulders raise. Breathe out, shoulders drop. Keep breathing out, chest comes in. Keep breathing out, belly draws back in. Breathe in, it's like a wave. It starts in your belly, moves up into your chest and ribs, keeps moving up all the way to your shoulders. Breathe out from your shoulders, the wave washes back down through your chest and ribs, back down through your abdomen. Breathe in, belly, chest, shoulders. Breathe out, shoulders, chest, belly. Breathe in, belly, ribs, shoulders. Breathe out, shoulders, ribs, belly. Breathe in, so we feel this wave expand, rising all the way up, and then breathe out. Feel that expansion. Go back down, reverse order. Breathe in. We feel this massaging through our organs with each breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. We also feel it stretching and massaging up the spine, the whole spine. Breathe out with each breath. Breathe in. The wave gently moves and stimulates all the nerves coming out from the spine. And breathe out. Washing back down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Wave rises. Breathe out. Just one more. Breathe in. And breathe out. And just relax, breathe just normally. That is actually a natural pattern of the breath for it to rise and fall like this. Obviously, we're exaggerating it a lot. It's kind of stretching, really getting everything to move in a much fuller range of motion than it normally does. And this emphasizes the massaging effect on the organs, the massaging and loosening effect through the spine and the nerves. And you might notice just from having done that breathing that possibly you start to feel a little bit warmer, that possibly you start to feel your energy start to relax and flow a little bit just because you've been activating up and down through those organs, through those nerves, and so on. Okay, so as I mentioned, while some of you are coming in, I was thinking maybe we'd do some crane exercises today. Let me just move this forwards a little bit so I'm going to have the room I need for some of it. So we'll start by doing, there's some simple preparation exercises that I like to do before doing any of the more vigorous animal practices, which helps to prepare us for this. It helps to open up the sympathetic nervous system in particular and get that energy active before we move into the animal movements. So we bring our hands together, palms touching each other. We breathe in. I think you've all done this one plenty of times before. Breathe out, lowering down the center. Breathe in. Breathe out. So just starting to center and balance the energy between left and right. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. This time as you breathe in, bring your hands up just halfway. Breathe out, opening your hands to the front, spread them wide, bring them behind, turn your palms up, coming back out to the front as you breathe out. So we're going to keep our palms facing all the way up if we can. This is part of what is going to open us. We don't want to let them kind of turn back forwards. Try and keep your palms facing all the way up. Breathe in, turning to one side. I'm a little short on room here. I'm going to get nice and close to the camera. Breathe in, turning to one side. Keep those palms up. Breathe out, return to the center. Breathe in, keeping your palms all the way up, twisting to the other side. Breathe out, returning to the center. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. So we're feeling a gentle twist right from our ankles, through our legs, through our spine, and it comes out through our shoulders, out to our arms. Breathe in and out. We want to keep those palms facing up though. Breathe in and out. Okay. Breathe in, lift your hands up. Breathe out, backs of your hands come together, reaching forwards. Palms upwards in a scooping shape. Breathe in and out. Opening down to the sides. Breathe in, out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. So this is gently opening out around our spine as we come down. Then breathe in. We bring energy up through that space that we've just opened up. And out. Breathe in Breathe out. So it's a very gentle outward stretch through the spine. Breathe in. Then we bring the energy, bring the fluid up and out. Couple more. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. So lifting one knee. If you're able to, bring the opposite elbow across the knee. That's difficult for some reason. You can just put your hand to the knee. Then we change to the other side. Change to the other side. Again, if you're doing this with your hands, it's simply doing it like this. Otherwise, elbow to knee, elbow to knee, switching sides. Last one. And breathe out. Okay, so we'll do some crane exercises. I know at least a few of you are familiar with these, and probably a few of you aren't. So we'll break some of them down a little bit to start with. The crane, well, certainly the way we're going to do them, we're going to be focusing, they're going to have a lot of effect on the metal element. So the lungs and large intestine in particular, it then does affect other things as well. And there are other ways of focusing on the crane that will focus more on other elements as well. Particularly fire is sometimes a focus of the crane, but we're going to be focusing more on metal. So the first thing we're going to do is some crane squats. But before we do that, we'll focus on the arm part of the movement. So we'll have our arms folded. We're going to bring them out. And as we do this, we're going to make crane's beaks. So we bring all of the fingertips together, and this is like the beak of a crane. Yep. So our arms are folded, they open, making crane's beaks, and we bring our arms all the way up so that the back of our wrists, this is the crane's head, touches together, and then we open down again and fold. This is what we're going to do. So we open up to the sides, and then we release back down and fold. So you can feel probably as we open up to the sides, this is creating a big opening stretch up through the side of our ribs, the space with our lungs underneath, and then back down. We'll breathe in as we raise the arms up. Breathe out, lowering down. Breathe in, raising up. Breathe out, lowering down. Breathe in, raising up. Breathe out, lowering down. Cool, that's the arms. We'll combine the legs. Now, if anyone finds the legs too challenging, you can do this exercise just with the arms, or you can do it just doing a very small squat as we do this. But ideally, this is the way you're going to want to do the squat. Heels together, toes pointing out on an angle, and we come down, we come up onto the balls of our feet. Our knees go out to the sides, and then back up. This is the leg portion of the crane squat. And if you sit here on the balls of your feet like this, with your back nice and upright, you might notice there's like a little bit of a pull through your lower back. Yeah. That sensation is going to become even stronger when we combine our arms. And we're going to have this effect of stretching the ribs, also lengthening up through the lower back, where the nerves go to the large intestine. So we're going to be working both the lungs and the large intestine, the paired metal organs at the same time. So we'll do the legs again a couple of times. Again, if this is uncomfortable for you, if it's not good for your knees, you can just do a very small one, or you can just focus on the arms when we put those back in again. But otherwise, this is what our squat is going to be like. One more time. Knees go out, we come right up onto the ball of our feet, so our heels are right underneath us and down. Cool. So we'll try combining that together. Arms are folded. We breathe in. Coming down, the arms come all the way up. Breathe out. Breathe in. So it's a very full stretch, opening up through the ribs, or the sides of the ribs particularly. Breathe out. Breathe in. And at the same time, lengthening up through the spine and particularly opening up through the lower back. Out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. All right, we'll move to the next exercise. So some crane bows. For this one, we're going to turn to one side, step our foot out so that we're moving into a lunge. Doesn't have to be a super deep lunge. You can make it deeper if you want to. So again, we're going to start from this position, and I'll just talk through the movement before we combine the breathing. We're going to lean our body forwards, again making crane's beaks, and reach our crane's beaks up as far behind us as we're able to. And then we're going to come up, bringing our crane's heads up high. So not too complicated a movement. So we'll try combining the breath straight away. So we'll breathe in. Sorry, I'm going to get into a bit deeper of a lunge here. So we'll breathe in. Breathe out. Opening up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. So for this one, we feel a real stretching through the back of our ribs, opening up. And breathe out. We really feel it opening up through the front of our ribs. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And from here, breathe out. Bring your arms back folded and step your foot back in. We can then step out to the other side into our lunge. Breathe in. Bend forwards, lifting the arms up. Breathe out. Breathe in, opening up the back of your ribs. Breathe out, opening right up through the front. Breathe in. And out. A couple more. Breathe in. And out. One more. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And we'll stand up, folding the arms again. Breathe out. And lower. All right. So we've done a lot, really opening up through our ribs. Opening right up through the sides of our ribs, and then opening right up through the back in front of our ribs. So we're really opening all of this space. We're now going to work a little bit more with our legs as well. This is still going to be important to have this strength and stability and this openness through the ribs. But we're going to be extending our legs. I'm a little bit challenged for space on this one, but we'll see how it goes. So very basically, we're going to breathe in and then breathe out, opening our hands to the sides. We will press our palms out. So this helps to create some stability through our rib cage, because as we do this, we ideally want to keep our upper body steady. It may move a little bit, but we want to keep it steady and firm. So again, we open up, palms out, creating some steadiness through our upper body. We lift our leg. We're going to do this very gently to begin with. We press out with our heel, and then we bring it out to the side of our body, then out behind. We lift it up and put it down. We can then change to the other side. So we lift our knee up, press the palms, extend the heel. We come out to the side, out behind. We then breathe in, breathe out. If you find this too challenging, even in this gentle way, you can lean on something. Lean on a chair or something like this if that's helpful to you. And what we're after as we do this, if you're very aware of your body and keep your upper body nice and upright and stable, you should feel a gentle pull through your lower back as you do this. Or if you don't, try and relax this leg so that you feel this gentle pull through your lower back. And as your leg moves around, the pull changes through your lower back. So you're creating a little massaging through all the way around, through one side of your lower back. And then same thing on the other side. We extend. We really let it relax down through here. We're keeping our body nice and stable. And there's this gentle pulling down through the lower back, loosening, massaging as we come around back to the front. So we'll do another couple of gentle ones, and then if you like, you can try to do it a little bit more challenging. So again, do lean on something if that's what you need right now. Otherwise, try doing it gently, and if that's enough for you, stay doing it gently, and otherwise you can try doing it in a more challenging way. So we open, we press the heels of the hands out, we extend the heel, it comes around, out to the side, out behind, we lift up, fold, down, open to the other side, lifting the knee, press the heels of the hands, extend the heel, comes out, around, behind, breathe in, breathe out. Just breathe naturally, extend, out, around, behind, breathe in, breathe out, out, around to the side, behind, very gently loosening, stimulating, breathe in, through the lower back, while keeping the upper body, the rib cage firm. So to make it more challenging, basically you just lift your leg higher. So if you want to give that a try, you can give that a try now. I'm a little bit confined with space. We'll see how we go. You might get my foot in the camera as we do this one. All right, so breathe in, breathe out. We open to the side, we open. Oh, I managed to fit in. Oh, up, behind. We breathe in, Change legs. Breathe out. Extend to the front. Extend to the side. Extend all the way behind. Breathe in. Breathe out. Extend in front. Extend to the side. Extend all the way behind. Breathe in. Breathe out. Extend in front. Extend to the side. Extend all the way behind. Breathe in. And breathe out. We'll pause for a moment. Okay. The last crane exercise that we're going to do, super simple. And if you need to, you can do this just with both feet on the floor. That will be fine. But otherwise, we're going to bring one leg up and cross it so the ankle is sitting above the other knee. And we just let this knee hang down. And then we open to the sides. We breathe in, we raise our arms a little. We breathe out, sink just a little. Breathe in. So it's a crane soaring. Breathe out. As we do this, we feel this opening right out through the ribs, very gently activating with the movement of the arms. And again, very gently up and down through the lower back. So we'll give this a try. We breathe in, out, in, out. Breathe in, crane soaring, out. This should bring a feeling of peace and clarity. Breathe in, like standing on top of a mountain. Breathe out. The air is clear. Breathe in. You're able to see for a long way. Breathe out. Feel that opening through your ribs, that lengthening up through your lower back. And we'll change to the other side. Again, you can just leave your feet on the ground if you prefer. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. So it's just a very subtle, gentle movement. Breathe out. Hopefully you can feel that pulling through your ribs. Breathe in, gently pulling through, lengthening your spine. Breathe out. Breathe in, and that sense of clarity. Breathe out. Freedom. Breathe in. And breathe out. And lower your hands. Cool. Breathe in, raising your arms up to the sides. Breathe out. Lower them down. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. And out. Placing your hands on your lower abdomen, underneath your belly button. We'll do a little bit of self-massage. So stirring, massaging in a circular movement. So clockwise direction up the right, across and down the left. Stimulating the energy in the center. Moving your hands into your lower back. Circles in your lower back. And we'll pat down the back and outside of our legs, up the front, inside of our legs, out, inside of one arm, up the back of the arm, out, inside of the other arm, up the back of the arm, over our face, over our head, over our neck, down, down, down the back, up the inside of the legs, out the inside of one arm, up the back of the arm, out the inside of the other arm, up the back of the arm, up over our face, head, neck, coming down the back, up the front. This will be our last time around. Out one arm, up the back of the arm, up the other arm, up the back of the arm, over our head, over our neck, stopping at our waist, bringing the hands in front. Just letting your energy settle. All right, I'm going to sit down again, and we finished with enough time for a little bit of Q&A, a little bit of discussion. We'll see if I can figure out, I can figure out how to let you unmute yourselves. Very good, if you want to. So I'll talk a little bit, just a little bit about those exercises, and then we'll see if we. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we, there we go. And then we'll see if anyone has any questions or comments or anything like that. So those exercises are a little bit more challenging than some of the other exercises. As you get deeper into the different animals, they do tend to be more physically challenging exercises. Hopefully we did those in a way that was gentle enough for everyone to join in and participate. Okay, you can make them more challenging, of course, as well. And those were really the warm-ups for crane. But they are great exercises just by themselves, and they start to help you to embody the crane characteristics and the crane energy. But then you go further into it, and it becomes even more challenging. Yeah. Now, some of the characteristics of the crane, so the metal element, so again, particularly the lungs, particularly the large intestines. So the primary emotion that we associate with the metal element is grief, or in a positive way, letting go. Because we sometimes we interpret emotions as a negative thing. All emotions are healthy when they're expressed healthily. They're useful and healthy to us when they're expressed healthily. They only become harmful if we have them too extreme. They can harm us, or if we become stuck in an emotion, we don't process and move on from it, it can become harmful. So so grief, it's not to be too serious or heavy, but pretty relevant to us right now. We don't have to be too serious or heavy about this, because for a lot of people, there's a lot of change going on right now, and their situation is different, and maybe things they wanted to do, they can't do now, and that can really weigh you down if you stay stuck in it. But when you let go of that, when you process it, and part of processing it is grief, then you have the ability to rise above it. And like a crane, you can then see much more clearly, because you're no longer focused on this thing that is essentially it's in the past. Even if you may be holding on to it, it's not an option anymore. And you can now see the new opportunities. You can see your horizon opens for you. And so instead of being weighed down, you then have a lightness and a freedom as a result of that. And this is part of the combination between the lungs and the large intestine. The large intestine obviously is about releasing and clearing things out, and then the lungs are able to fill more, and we have this wider view, this wider horizon. So anyway, let's see, there were a couple of comments here. So Clayton says, yet here is a lot of warmth generated naturally from the breathing. I do feel that the heart is being stimulated and it has an expansive nature to it also. Yes, that's true. And so again, there are some small changes to the exercises. So one, the lungs sit right next to the heart. And there are some small details in terms of how you're doing the movements as to whether the primary stimulation goes to the lungs or whether it becomes more centrally focused into the heart. So generally they will both be stimulated together, but it can be more one or more the other. I mean, you think about it, if you go for a run, you probably work your lungs, but you also work your heart at the same time. They tend to operate together, but you can focus more one than the other. The specific way that we did those exercises puts a bit more emphasis onto the lungs and onto the ribs. There are some variations that can shift that emphasis more into the center of chest and onto the heart and the fire element. So Lisa says, this was great, John. Thank you. John says, that was great. My first time practicing the animal forms. Aaron says, I felt a strong stretch along the lung meridian during the crane squats. Great. Yeah. So yes, some of the more specific details as you come up here, you can feel this pathway. And of course, we are opening through the ribs as well as this sort of pathway up through here and the large intestine meridian as well. Okay, Denise says, I'm unable to keep a straight back when doing crane squats. I lean forwards a bit. Is that all right? Yes, that's okay to begin with. And as you continue to practice, you'll find that it becomes easier to come more upright. But you don't have to do everything with perfect form as you're learning, as you're developing. Naturally, things will, improve with more practice. Jennifer says, in breathing exercises, I often feel the lungs breathe unevenly between them. Do you have exercises to help balance this? So uneven between your left and your right, I'm guessing. Let's see. Correct, uneven between left and right. So doing things like so this to some extent will, but it's working both at the same time. If you have a strong enough pattern to one side or the other, it may not correct it. Doing things like dragon clears a path, which I think you've joined us on some of the other sessions for, where you really fill one lung and then you really fill the other. That sort of thing is probably going to be quite useful to even those out, because you're going to open those up. And you can really focus on opening the one that doesn't feel like it opens fully by doing that exercise more. Also, some of the exercises, the side bending exercises with breath, you can use to balance those up. And then probably finally some alternate nostril breathing potentially could be useful for that. If you're not familiar with those exercises, maybe if you flick me an email, I can point you to some resources for those. So Margaret says, fun, I even fell over on the 3 or 4 squat. Okay, hopefully as long as you didn't fall over and hurt yourself, that's fine. So Dara says, to which element is the crane exercise related? So the way that we did them today, it focused on the metal element. Again, you can change the exercises, you can change details of them so they focus more on one element or another. We focused on the metal element. Sometimes crane will also focus on fire, but we had more of a metal focus. Lisa says, I almost knocked over a lamp. Fun. Yeah, and obviously I'm in a small space here. It's a little challenging to do some of these big expansive exercises when you've only got a small space, but hey, it's good to have some fun with things. Oh, and Jennifer, about the lung exercises, she says, that's great. Yes, she knows them. Thanks. Yeah, so those are some tools that you can, particularly if you've identified that issue, you can use to, yeah, to correct that imbalance. Cool. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? Doesn't have to be about these practices, about anything else. At the moment, we have allowed a little bit of time. You feel free, if you want, to turn off your mute if you want to speak. That should be okay as well. No? Yes? No?
No.
That's okay. So your leader says, really enjoyed it. My back feels more straight now. Yeah, and hopefully not just straight, but longer, like it's kind of been stretched out through, through all those little muscles up the spine. That's a big part of it.
Oh, God.
So when we were doing alignment, centering, and opening.
Yes.
So, did you, as we come back up and we bring the arms down to the sides, you're talking about the fluid moving, is that also, I think maybe you referred to it once as dredging the spine?
Yeah, so this is a little bit different from some of the, because there are a lot of movements that are similar, but changing details changes what happens with them. And I just said, with the crane, you can focus on metal or you can focus on fire by changing some details. And there are a lot of movements where we do different things, which, lift the energy either up and down our spine or up and down the front of our body or in a circuit. And some small details change exactly what it is that it's doing. So particularly for this one, because there's things where we just reach forwards and come up, right? And this, of course, is going to affect the spine. This one is a little bit different. With the hands facing each other, it really creates this outwards pull from the spine. So it's opening up the spine by creating this outwards pull all around the spine. And then this hand shape has quite a different effect from this hand shape. This hand shape tends to brace the muscles, and so we get a pull from the muscles. This hand shape tends to interact more with the fluids inside the body. And so what we're doing, we open up around the spine, and then we're bringing the fluids up through the space that we've just opened up. And so it's going to really work with the cerebrospinal fluid, which is around the spinal cord, to open that up to make all those nerves in the spine healthy. So, and that's why, yeah, sometimes dredging the spine, because we're opening it up and then bringing those fluids up through it. Does that cover what you were asking about, Clayton?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Cool. So Jonathan says, when practicing standing poses and other moving practices, which would you recommend doing first? Okay, so context. you can do them either way. Sometimes you can use standing practice as a preparation for moving, and other times you use standing practice as a way to consolidate the energy that you've stimulated with moving. If you want to use standing as a preparation for moving, I mean, we very often stand just briefly, and it's a way for us to tune into our energy and just prepare very briefly. That's very common. But if you're wanting to use it as a way to activate your energy before going into moving practice, you normally need to stand for quite a while for that to activate the energy and then move on. The flip side of that, if you move first, consolidating the energy afterwards, you've already got the energy moving, and so that tends to make the standing practice easier if you've got the energy moving first. It's a slower process generally to try to activate the energy just by standing. So most of the time, I'd say move first, then stand, but you can do it the other way around. It is possible. Okay, let's see. Cosmina says, why isn't the crane looks behind and in 12 Rivers not used for the metal element? So again, if those of you who've done animal practices with me before, you may have a primary focus of an element for each animal, but each animal, just like every human, is a combination of all 5 elements. If you're alive, you have all 5 elements operating within you. Otherwise, you would be dead. It's very simple. Now, you may have a predominance of one or another, but you have to have all 5. And so, specifically, the crane looks behind. It does work around the ribs and so on, but the activity is not so high in the ribs. It's down here into the sides of the ribs, and this is where it creates its stimulation into the spleen, and therefore the relationship with the earth element. So yeah, just because an animal has a predominance of one element doesn't mean that it doesn't have movements and things that very much relate to the other elements. So out of interest, just talking about the animals, so one of the reasons why some spleen exercises in particular are associated with the crane is because the cranes, or certainly at least the ones in China, are well known for being able to eat horrible, terrible, poisonous things. And it doesn't kill them. In fact, it's thought that that's part of what helps them to live to a long age. And part of what allows them to process those horrible, terrible, poisonous things is essentially, it's a very strong spleen function. The spleen, amongst its other functions, has a really important immune role. It holds a store of white blood cells, which is able to, when there's something enters the body, to be released and then neutralize whatever that poisonous thing is. And so there's all these different associations for the different animals, different organs, different elements, and so on. Interesting question. Cool. Did we have any other questions there? Just some chat rather than questions going on. So that's fine. That's great. Well, look, it's been great having everyone here in the session today. Does anyone, if you have any requests for future sessions, please, feel free to jot those down. Otherwise, of course, we'll see. We'll practice something interesting, something enjoyable, I hope. More animals, Jonathan says. Okay, that's definitely a possibility. Lisa says a tutorial on movement and stillness. Yeah, that's a possibility. And thank you, great session. Okay, cool. Okay, thanks everyone. I think we will finish now, and I hope to see you on another one soon.